welcome to For Such a Time as This Talks. I'm your host, Xiann Cooley, and today I have with me a good friend of mine, Tyler Crowder. And today he and I are just going to go over some things that we've come across as we've grown and just gotten to know each other over the course of nursing school. So here we are. Tyler, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Tyler Crowder. Middle name Traquan.
You know what? All right, Tyler. So if you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Fayetteville, Georgia. Was born in LaGrange, Georgia, but originally from Fayetteville, Georgia.
Okay.
Spent some time playing football, over the years. Ended up going to college for football, end up, hanging up the cleats, because I soon, became a father. So I wanted to do what was right, be there for him. And I also fell into nursing. So, this is where me and Xiann met, in nursing school. So, this is where we are. It's been a crazy journey though.
All right. So what are some things like just since you've been in nursing school that you learned about yourself? Like tell us a little bit about that journey.
So through nursing school, like I said before, I played football, and I thought I went through a lot of adversity playing football. I realized that was a lot of physical adversity. But in nursing school, it kind of pushes you to the test, with your spiritual, emotional, and physical adversity. So I learned about myself that I'm stronger than I thought I was. Before nursing school, I thought strength had to do a lot with being big and swole and stuff like that. Quickly realized that it's more to it. It's more to it than that. Nursing brought out actually the best in me. I want to say that.
That's awesome. All right, so we're going to start off with our first topic today, and it's going to be not being hard on yourself when it's hard or when it gets hard. I think that's something all of us face in nursing school, not being hard on ourselves when it gets hard, whether it's grades or whether it's just life in general. So what's your take on that a little bit?
Not being hard on myself when it gets hard. I feel like I struggle with that sometimes because I feel like when stuff gets hard, I have to be harder sometimes, and I feel like I do that in order to cover up like that underlining cause of what I'm going through. Why it's being difficult to me. I learned that over the years, it's okay to be hard on yourself, but it's not okay to talk down on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But adding more pressure than you need to on yourself.
Yeah.
In the midst of everything you're going through. And I think that's something we easily fall into. We think we're the problem in the midst of everything else, all the problems we're facing in life. So we try to figure out what is it that we're doing to cause it or if we're causing it.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit more added pressure to that as well.
Exactly.
And I think if we're being unfair to ourselves, because a lot of things we can't control. So we often put what we can't control in our hands, knowing there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
And that can be frustrating at times. And also, like you were just telling me that, through some of our conversations about family matters, that is not something we can necessarily control, but we try our best to, and that's overwhelming. We're hard on ourselves because, it's nothing we can necessarily always do about it. So
I feel like over the years, I've had to kind of be hard on myself because a lot of people have looked at me for that role, to be the one that has it figured out. So if I slip, then everyone slips.
Either that or you feel like everyone sees the slip.
Everyone sees the slip.
And I think also that allows us, or has taught me, I don't know about you, but just to lean on God all the more.
Don't you know
to lean on Him all the more because we can't control everything, but we have to trust in the one who has it all under control, and that's God.
You're right.
And not only that, but to know that our own strength, like you were talking about physical strength, nursing brought out your strength and just not only your mentality, but spiritually, because we have to put that trust in God. We have to also know that our strength is in God. And like, Lord, I don't know how we're going to do it, how I'm going to get through it, but I need you to give me the strength to sustain it and make it through whatever this is.
Right.
And He will. We have to trust that He will. And when we don't, it can be harder, not only for ourselves, but He's like, you were never meant to handle it on your own kind of thing, And I think that goes into just being hard on ourselves that we think we were meant to handle it alone. And I think that's from what I know, just a little bit part of your story as well, is that you feel like you have to take it all by yourself on your own. When we don't.
And I thought that for so many years. But through nursing school, throughout my college career, God kind of taught me. He taught me pretty good. He put me in situations where I couldn't handle it on my own. There was nothing I could do in order to make something shake. You know what I'm saying? And he put me in those situations.
And what's a situation you could think of?
When I lost all my scholarships and I didn't know how I was going to pay for school, stuff like
that.
That's
real stuff, though. That's real. So tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Basically,
Mm-hmm.
so I lost my scholarships from playing football.
Mm-hmm.
Um, didn't realize that my credits went towards my academic career. Therefore, my Hope Scholarship was cut in half as well. So quickly ran out of money, But by the grace of God, money appeared.
Mm-hmm.
Money appeared. Blessings, scholarships, family helped me through this process. And it's like one of those things where it's nothing I could have did. No matter if I was working, it was a lot of catch up to do. So God, He just had my back through that process as far as paying for school.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but I know that definitely just confirmed to you that this is where He wanted you to be. Not only that, but He had your back, and I know that definitely grew your trust in God all the more in ways that you probably wouldn't have gone through had you, continued to pursue that career in football.
You're right.
And so I think it definitely made you take a step back. It was like, God, the only way this is going to happen, only I'm going to move forward. This is what you're calling me to do, is if you make a way and show me that this is the way you're making for me to step into.
I look back sometimes, I was like, man, God, why you let me play football, man? And it's like, from my perspective, I'm like, man, God loved me that much. He knew I love football, so He like, hey, man, I'm gonna give you a little bit. But He loved me so much, He gave me the opportunity to play at that level. But He redirected me when He wanted to.
And it was all love. You know that?
All love.
It was all love. And it was also not even just all love, but also His love for what He's calling you to do, what He knows that you love to do, because God cares about what you love as well.
Yeah.
And you can use that. There's so many student athletes that we encounter all the time, and you can definitely. And God knew that you could be that voice for them as well, because it's when they lose scholarship, or maybe it couldn't have been. You could have been injured for some players, and it's like that takes them out, and you definitely give them hope that God can help them see the I guess the pot to go at the end of the rainbow type of situation. That there's a better side to it.
Understanding like my purpose in this world. I can do all these things. I can help all these people, but ultimately understanding what's my purpose. What is my role? Who am I meant to help?
And I did think definitely men too. Men nurses, like you are one of the female nurses in our cohort. And so I think just men that want to go into nursing, I think your story is very, very beneficial. And so I don't ever want you to discount that at all, because it's a cost. And your story is the cost. Like what God has caused you, what He's taking you through. Like you paid a price to be where you at.
I did.
But you also had that way paid for you because of just the love and grace of God that He had on you the whole way through.
Right.
So yeah. Right. And so our second topic, let's see, is letting go of the old you, not letting other people's deception of who you used to be influence who you are now, who you're trying to become. I know that's something we talked about a lot too.
That's deep right there.
Yeah, and so let's see here. What's your take on that a little bit?
So like I said, being an athlete for so many years, it kind of put me on like this worldly pedestal. Like anything I did was right, or that anything I did was validated, and I quickly realized that it wasn't. I in a way I thought that everybody owed me something. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like when I transitioned out of that athlete mindset, I kind of grew into a person of that I'm being more empathetic. I grew from not really caring about like people's emotions and how they perceive me to actually caring about how people perceive me and how I'm making them feel. And it actually, from football, I was like, man, as I'm growing into it, man, I see a lot of men still struggle with that without even being an athlete.
And either that, but they don't even see it either.
They don't even
it
see
took you a minute after you stepped out of football to see it. That's when you saw it.
Yeah.
And a lot of athletes, they don't see it because they're in the moment, they're in the midst of it, and their friends that are fellow players or whatever are doing the same thing, and they're all blind to it. So it wasn't until, like you said, God allows you to step back from football, and He took the blinds off of you, and you was like, wow, I didn't realize how much whether you was yeah, like you said, clean house. You had to really do just what your whole world was kind of turned around.
It was my relationships, the music I listened to, the things that I did or that I do now. It's very different than where I was a couple of years ago. Very different.
And see, I think also not putting or being hard on yourself, for that past, but knowing that you've grown and learned from it. And also not continue to surround the people who knew the old you and trying to draw you back into that old version of yourself. Yeah. And I know we've talked a lot about that too, just, whether it's been relationally or friendships of people who knew you from your past imposing that old you on you.
I had to remove a lot of them from my life.
So let's tell a little bit about that.
It was difficult. I had to remove friendships, sometimes family members,
Yeah.
just remove them, stop contacting them. You know, even when they reached out, you know, I knew God was telling me don't reach back out, because where I was going, they couldn't go where I was going. You know,
and that can be hard to do too. Where you know God is taking you, other people can't go with you too.
Very emotional. You know, people that I've been through a lot, thick and thin with, I just couldn't take them to where I was going. You know, because I knew if I did that, then I wasn't going to reach my purpose. You know.
Yeah, and I've definitely encountered that a lot myself, just knowing that where I knew God was going to be taking me, people could, you know, the ones that I want to, and it's hard, it makes it harder when you want those people to come, because of what you went through, or you know, for however long you've known them, and it's like it has to get to a point where it's like, is it good for me though?
Is it good?
Is it going to benefit me to stay in this relationship, or benefit me to stay in this friendship if it's going to hinder my growth?
And you know, the crazy thing is, kind of when you're going through that, even though, you know, my mindset was cloudy back then, even when you're going through those relationships, you know, you're not supposed to be going through those or still obtaining those relationships.
And we try our hardest sometimes.
Try
and
hardest.
Sometimes we ask God to remove them, and He will. And we be like, oh, like you really did. Yeah. And it could be a good thing, but it's not. It's a good thing, but it's one thing to neglect, like the hurt and the pain that comes with the attachment.
Exactly.
It's part of it. It's definitely a growing process, though.
You're right.
And it's definitely beneficial. And I think also, like we were talking about, when you not surrounding yourself with the people who draw you back into that old version of you, but also knowing your ticks, or not your ticks, but like your, you know what I'm trying to say, like the things that you know will make you go revert back to that old state. And so that can be just with anger. I know with, you know, men in general, like you told me a lot about that too. So like, what's your story on that as well?
You know, back in the day, I played ball. You know, I refer back to that because that was like a part of my identity, football. So I used to think that I was letting my anger out with the game. I quickly realized,
like your outlet kind of thing.
That's what, you know, we say that's our outlet. But now looking at it now, I don't think it was an outlet. I think it was just adding to it. Adding to it. So I didn't know how to rage, and I didn't know how to have a regular conversation with anybody without, oh, this is me, you know what I'm saying, like that.
Like just kind of deal with it type thing.
Yeah. So you know, God had a lot of long talks, long talks, a lot of humility, you know, being humbled, and just being, just love, you know what I'm saying? Loving the people around you, the friendships, the family, teachers, co-workers, just spreading that love, you know what I'm saying?
People that you may have in one season neglected or not realized their importance or how much they were affecting, or just, you know, the care that they had for you until, you know, maybe stood back, or, you know, took that step back. So or maybe even took it for granted.
And even all that anger, like with those relationships, all the temper problems, it's like those relationships were just band-aids, you know,
to cover it up. That's good.
But you know, God pushed me to that point where, hey man, let's take a step back. We gotta do some reflection. You know, we ain't putting no band-aid. We healing this wound. You know,
from the inside.
From the inside.
Yeah, and I think from a nursing standpoint, being in nursing school is widened my perspective spiritually, because it makes me, like you were talking about wounds. Wounds take a lot of care and attention. You have to literally, when you're addressing a wound, you have to unpack it.
You have to,
and that's like your life spiritually. You have to be intentional about unpacking the baggage. And a lot of times we don't want to. We don't want to take off what do we put on there? So like the wraps and the covers. Like we don't want to. We put all that we pack as deep as we can to just ignore the fact that it's there. But it hurts. The wound still hurts.
And if your hands ain't clean when you're cleaning it, it'll get infected.
Look, all right. Get infected. You know, things that you don't want to get exposed to get exposed to.
Exactly.
And so that's why I think just being intentional about, you know, like you said, taking care of the baggage,
taking care of it,
cleaning it up, taking the time, to make, you know, to acknowledge the fact that it hurts, it's okay that it hurts, but it's also important where you go to for the hurt, to take care of the hurt.
God told me, you know, over the years that in order to actually heal, he said, T, you gotta sit in those emotions. You got to feel that.
You gotta feel it.
You got
a lot
to.
of times we don't want to feel.
Don't want to.
And I think that's also being an athlete too. That's part of, and sometimes even being part of a male is we don't that y'all don't want to feel the emotions.
No.
And women can get like that too. We don't want it. We want to ignore it.
Yeah.
Anything to help us move on to the next thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's powerful. And all right. So our last topic is not allowing life to prevent you from celebrating life's precious moments in the moment. So like, what's going on in your life not prevent you from what's happening right here, right now.
Yeah. So, well, through the course of nursing school, my mother, she got sick. I think I told you a couple weeks ago, my dad got sick.
Yeah.
So those were within 2 years, life-threatening, diseases and stuff like that. And through my nursing career, I was actually departed from my son as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot. Oh, and I also lost one of my grandfathers through this process. So it's been emotional.
It's been a lot. Yeah.
Family, friends, and stuff like that. I've been pushing through pretty good. But I forgot your question. I got getting emotional.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Feel that emotion because honestly, like, it's hard being in nursing school because a lot of people don't see or realize that we have lives outside of nursing school. And not only that, but there's moments in nursing school that we celebrate. Like, let's say you pass an exam or you do great in clinical, knowing that it's okay to celebrate those moments and not feel guilty. I mean, things like graduation. Like, we're coming up on graduation in a few weeks. And like, I know you and I had a conversation about everything else that's going on in your life. You didn't, feel like you had the right to celebrate.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't. I felt guilty because it's like even though I put in all this work, like I feel like that I want the best for the people around me too.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they're not happy, I can't be happy.
And it's you're not doing yourself any justice in doing that.
Justice, yeah.
Yeah, because you deserve to celebrate. We all do.
We do.
And it's also about just being in the moment. Like, right now, this is where I am. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to choose to be joyful. Joyfulness is not only something that God gives us freely, but it's a choice that we have to pick it up.
Right.
It's like, God, can you give me joy today? Can you give me that hope? Because it's not, you won't be able to sustain it on your own. And you're not supposed to. And it's also important not to find happiness or joy in the wrong places, in the wrong things. So I think just having a relationship with God, getting in your word, praying about it, finding some worship music, whatever it is to get you in the presence of God, to get what you need. Because you don't have it, we never have it. And to think that you have it all together it's a discount in itself.
Yeah, it is.
It's a disadvantage in itself. And so I think that's definitely part of it. It's just, knowing that it's okay. It's like, God, help me to enjoy the now.
Yeah.
Because it takes practice to enjoy the now when you have life going on in the midst of going to nursing school. It's not easy.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, had we not gotten so close, just our cohort, we wouldn't have realized how much everybody was going through in the midst of nursing school. Like, we have lives outside of, and life is life.
Life is life.
And life gets real.
It do.
And so I think just being real with ourselves and be like, I'm going through this. I'm here right now. I'm going to be present, even if it's hard to. Lord, help me to be here. What is it that you want me to get out of this moment right now? Like, I know everything else is going on, and help me to also trust that you're taking care of that. While I'm right here right now, help me to also trust that you're taking care of my circumstances, my situations, and just to trust you with that, to lean on you. Lord, I am leaning on you, being real and honest with God and yourself as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
Right.
All right. You have anything else you want to add?
And it's just, we ending the year up and stuff like that. I've been doing a lot of reflection over the year. And it's like, I'm pretty sure I can speak for everybody that we've had to experience every emotion, to get to this point. I feel like it's a lot of people we're about to go out in the world and help, not even just because we're nurses, but simply because we're who we are,
We're people. We're human. People. Yeah, we have
We're
emotions.
Meant to be in relation with each other.
Yeah, and we all have different personalities, but that's what makes it so much better.
Yeah.
If you think about it, almost like a shrimp boil or something. You got your potatoes, your corn, you got your sauce. I mean, all of it comes together to make a beautiful and wonderful, tasteful dish that many people enjoy.
Exactly.
And I think I was just going through, talking to other of our classmates, is just about how I really think that each and every one of us was handpicked to be in this cohort. Yeah. Literally for such a time as this. For such a time as this, because it's like the way we get along, our personalities, it just goes together literally so beautifully.
Right.
And
it's like we each needed each other to lean on through this process.
I mean, our differences included. Like, it's been so beautiful just watching each of us flourish in that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this pot that is nursing school and mix it
Yeah.
all together with
Mix
everything
it all
good.
together.
Yeah, the good and the
Yeah.
bad. So yeah,
Right.
definitely. All right. So do you have any advice for anyone right now? Like we talk about how the time is now. What would be your piece of advice to someone or nursing student to say the time is now to whatever like?
The time is now to.
Mm-hmm.
It might seem insensitive, but it's okay to put yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to put your relationship with God first.
Yeah.
It's okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Your emotions, your circumstances, your situations are validated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we might seem like we're going through life by ourselves, but I can guarantee you that the person next to you is probably going through just as much.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Definitely. Check on your people.
Check on your people. Lean on your people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And then together lean on God
and lean on God.
and remind each other to lean on God.
Exactly.
All right, so I just want to thank you, Tyler, for
Oh
being on
yeah,
this,
for sure.
the
You know,
talks with me
yeah.
today. I really enjoyed
No
you.
doubt, no doubt. Thank you for
And
letting me be here.
yes, of course, look, you're welcome back anytime,
For sure,
okay?
for
I
sure.
know our viewers would definitely enjoy you. Viewers,
Mhm.
thank you so much for
Yes,
tuning in
ma'am.
with us today. Don't forget to share, follow, subscribe, follow my Instagram or the YouTube as well. And just, come back for more content, definitely. So I'm going to pray us out like I normally would
Okay.
do in our Bible study groups,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to head out. So, Lord Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. Thank you for every single thing that was discussed throughout this talk, God. I just pray that this message will resonate, or our talk will resonate with whomever that needs to hear it, God. And I just pray that you would have your way. Let this message and this talk go where it is that you desire for it to. Let it penetrate the hearts of the individuals that you allow to hear it. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So remember, the time is now, and see y'all next time.